August 6, 1945, 8:16 a.m. A B-29 Superfortress flew over Hiroshima. One single bomb was dropped, and it had as much force as 15,000 tons of TNT.
Due to the seemingly endless conflict between the United States of America and Japan during World War II, an unfortunate but necessary compromise was the dropping of the atomic bomb on Hiroshima and Nagasaki.
Emperor Hirohito was in control of Japan from 1926 till his death in 1989.
Emperor Hirohito allowed himself to be manipulated by the military.
The army also controlled the education system of Japan, and one of their main subjects was martial arts.
In 1931, Japanese extremists persuaded Japan to attack Manchuria's army.
They quickly defeated the Manchurian army and controlled the whole country.
On July of 1937, Japan invaded China, and the unequipped Chinese were no match for the ruthless Japanese army.
Shortly after, Japan bombed Peking and Shanghai.
On December of 1937, in Nanjing, the Japanese army massacred more than 200,000 Chinese citizens in cold blood.
On July 25, 1940, in an effort to disrupt the Japanese war economy, the U.S. government cut off its exports of steel and oil to Japan.
Later that year, on September 27th, Germany, Italy, and Japan strengthened their ties through the Tri-Party Act, which makes an enemy of one an enemy of all.
The next year, Japan attacked Pearl Harbor by surprise on December 7, 1941. It took over 2,400 American lives that day.
The very next day, the United States and Britain formally declared war on Japan. As expected, Germany and Italy sided with Japan and declared war on the United States.
Within a few weeks, Japan started attacking other Pacific islands. The Philippine capital city of Manila was the first to fall to the invading Japanese army.
Then Japan invades Burma and begins attacking at Victory Point.
After a month of Japan attacking Burma, it finally falls to Japan on May 15, 1942, and 250,000 civilians die in Burma, and even more soldiers die protecting Burma.
By this time, Japan had expanded from Manchuria to the Dutch East Indies, massacring almost 10 million innocent civilians in their path. In an effort to end the war, the Americans began attacking islands closer to the mainland of Japan. The Battle of Iwo Jima was a major battle towards the mainland. The most famous picture of World War II was taken there. A small group of Marines on Mount Suribachi raised the Stars and Stripes and declared victory.
Another major battle that happened with the United States and Japan during World War II was the Battle of Okinawa.
The battle began on April 1st, 1945. This was the last battle before reaching the mainland of Japan.
After 2 painful months of fighting, the Battle of Okinawa ended, taking the lives of 110,000 Japanese soldiers and 12,000 American troops, with a devastating 50,000 American soldiers injured.
The United States won the Battle of Okinawa, and they were in striking distance of Japan's mainland.
And we realized that there were more than 2 million Japanese soldiers waiting for us on the mainland.
The United States' goal was to get Japan to surrender with the least amount of casualties.
That is when we realized there was only one solution to get Japan to stop.
The unfortunate compromise was the atomic bomb. We knew that Japan would not surrender by the loss of life because of how they treated their own soldiers.
We knew how ruthless Japan was from the past battles like Okinawa and Hiroshima, and how many American lives also would have been lost if we had attacked Japan by combat.
So on August 6th of 1945, the United States dropped the atomic bomb named Little Boy on Hiroshima, and 80,000 Japanese people died immediately.
Then 3 days later, we dropped the second bomb, named Fat Man, on Nagasaki, killing another 40,000 Japanese people.
After the bombing, there was an interview on President Truman where he states, "The bomb ended the war. If we had invaded Japan, 500,000 soldiers on both sides would have been killed."
We realize how devastating the bombs were, but it still doesn't justify it for the nearly 10 million innocent lives taken by Japan during World War II.
Then, on September 2nd of 1945, Japan surrenders.
It was a great day for the U.S. and for the world.
We have been at war for 3 years.
Little did we know what Japan was going to do if they had not surrendered.
They planned an operation called Cherry Blossom at Night that was directed towards California.
They were going to do this September 22nd of 1945, but luckily they surrendered before this terrible operation happened.
Japan had fleas carrying the bubonic plague, smallpox, botulism, and anthrax, and many other deadly diseases.
They were testing this chemical warfare in a place called Unit 731.
In this unit, these poorly trained doctors would do autopsies on living patients that they called logs and inject diseases into them to see the outcome.
Japan did not just test these chemicals on prisoners of war, but on anyone they could find.
They tested them on women and children, they estimating a devastating 35,000 victims killed in Unit 731.
They were going to have 5 submarines filled with these diseases and send them over by hot air balloons.
Another method was the kamikaze. The kamikaze plane was normally deployed from a larger plane, and the nose cone was normally packed with explosives. The door was locked from the outside, and there were no landing gears on the plane.
Instead of explosives, they put the diseases in the nose cones of the planes.
When the balloon or plane would hit the ground, it would release these chemical-injected fleas that would attract rats, and the fleas would attach to the rats. Then the rats would carry the fleas to populated areas.
This could have killed millions of innocent American people if they had done it successfully.
And now we realize how necessary the atomic bomb was, and how devastating it would have been if Japan had not surrendered.